Tonight, a mysterious death shocks the city of Detroit and surrounding suburbs. A woman gunned down on a stranger's front porch. Now the homeowner, accused of killing her in cold blood, is heading to court, claiming he killed her in self-defense. What really happened that night? The trial began today, and tonight we will examine all the clues. Will they reveal this was murder or self-defense? Does the knock on the door indicate that she was harmless and indeed looking for help? Or could banging on the door by an inebriated person create fear, an imminent fear of harm on the part of this homeowner?
Well, banging on the door and breaking and entering are two totally different things in my opinion, and this young woman was in need of help, and I have to tell you that in Detroit there is this culture and this fear and contempt of African Americans that nobody is reporting on right now, and I think that this case is bringing it out to the forefront. I think you touched on something, Jane. Had she been a white young woman, would this have been the case? And I think that this man acted irresponsibly. What he did was unconscionable, and I think that we're going to see this played out in court.
The irony of this situation is that Mr. Wafer's house looks almost like the house where Renisha was living. I mean,
well,
so
are you suggesting that maybe she was intoxicated and in some sort of semi-blackout and thinking maybe that was her house?
I'm thinking that might well have been a possibility. If you look at the two homes, they look almost similar, though they're nowhere close to each other. And my perspective is that she may have been trying to find a way to get back home or get somewhere. And Mr. Wafer's talking about how fearful he is. How would you feel as a 19-year-old young girl out on the streets that time of night? You don't know what might happen to you.
This isn't something that he typed in researching. It's just something that he clicked on that was up on that site, right?
It's the site that he went to. I don't know how he was directed to it.
Okay. So you don't have any evidence that he actually typed in a Google search or a Reddit search or anything for child free.
True.
So that's a critical distinction. Ebony K. Williams' attorney, essentially what the defense is saying is that it wasn't that he went and researched in depth online for child-free living hot car deaths. It was that he was surfing the internet, things came up, and he clicked on them as millions of other people do. Do you buy that?
Well, I only buy it, Jane, in the sense that these kind of fine line distinctions, while they may seem irrelevant to us as lay people and in the real world, but when it comes to this jury box, Jane, I do think they'll make a distinction because they want to be able to trust the DAs emphatically. They want to be able to trust the prosecutor is presenting them with the full and complete truth. And when these little exaggerations start to add up, again, you get this totality of questioning the credibility of the DA's case, and that could long-term be a problem for them.
Police say Stacy walked right into the local sheriff's office just before 9 a.m. Monday and announced she'd killed her daughter. She was in the trunk of this car. That the child's body was discovered by her father. The child wrapped in a garbage bag, suffering severe trauma to her head and chest. Amy Doyle, you just got off the phone with the dead child's paternal grandfather. What did he tell you?
Well, initially, Jane, our first question is the history between this mother and daughter. So I asked, when the baby was born, what was the initial reaction of a mother who just had a baby? He said, shockingly, that she refused to hold the baby. She wanted a boy, refused to hold the baby, which I'm a mother, was shocking to me. I mean, that's outrageous. He then went on to tell me that she had a history of being very verbally abusive to the girl. Now, CPS was never called. There's no history of physical domestic violence in that house. However, he said she was flat out mean to that little girl from day one.
Hey, little Rico. You know Katie Cleary from the CW's America's Next Top Model and other TV shows. But you may not know she's a passionate animal lover, and so was her late husband, Andrew Stern.
Honestly, this tragedy with Andrew has been beyond imaginable. I loved him very much. He was my heart and soul, and the fact that this happened the way it did is so tragic, and he was a huge animal lover, and I wanted to do something to honor his memory, and so me and my foundation, Peace for Animals, decided to purchase a piece of land in Borneo on behalf of him through World Land Trust, and I think that this is the best way to honor him, and something that he had always wanted was, to help the rainforest and orangutans. Thank you, Jane. You're an angel.